Yeah, that was the worst way to start a season for Jalen Carter because now it has ramifications not only for this game, but also for the rest of the season, or at least for the near future, because can we trust you to keep your cool, keep your composure if this sets you off? Whatever happened between him and Dak, this was just completely unacceptable, violated man code 101. And it's just a shame because he's such a great player, and they sorely needed him tonight. Although they got the win, this is a big loss, and it may even be a subsequent loss in another game.
I'm not going to go crazy either, but I'm not satisfied. I thought he should have been suspended for this week. I thought he should have been suspended for an additional game. You know, to spit on another person, I mean, it doesn't get much more disrespectful than that. What position, Swagoo, is the most protected position in all of sports?
Quarterback.
It's the in all of football. It's the quarterback. They're most protected. What's the most popular franchise in sports? Worth $13 billion. It's the Cowboys. Not only did you spit, but you spit on a Cowboy. You spit on a star quarterback for the Cowboys on national television with the referee 2 feet away. The epitome of stupidity. There's no way around it. Everywhere you look, it's just flagrant stupidity. I'm not saying that the guy should be suspended for multiple games or anything like that. But you showed up on the field, you were in uniform, you warmed up, the reigning defending Super Bowl champions came out through all the smoke and all of that stuff for the introductions and everything else. As far as I'm concerned, it's your damn fault you didn't play the game, but you didn't miss it either. You were there. No, your ass need to be home. Because guess what? If this penalty had come down, maybe I would feel differently if the penalty had come down immediately. But since they just announced it, and you brought up what you just brought up that happened in college, doggy, then you got cats out there mimicking stuff. We're talking about role models, right? We're talking about making sure that behavior ain't emulated, right? We're talking about making sure that you understand the severe ramifications that come with such a heinous, disgusting act like spitting on somebody, right? Guess what? Another game ain't no problem just suspending that guy. And that man for Florida, he should be suspended multiple games too.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because this isn't just another story about bad blood between two NFL rivals. This is about respect, humiliation, and a quarterback finally saying enough is enough. We're talking about Dak Prescott, America's team's leader, filing criminal charges against Jalen Carter after that jaw-dropping, disrespectful act in the season opener. Carter spitting directly on Prescott before the first snap of the game. And trust me, this isn't some sideline dust-up. This isn't a flag, a fine, or a one-aim suspension. This is real-life consequences spilling out of the gridiron and into the courtroom. It was Thursday night NFL season opener Cowboys versus Eagles. You could feel the tension in the air. The lights were bright. The fans were rowdy, and Dak Prescott, coming off months of criticism about whether he can lead the Cowboys deep into the playoffs, was ready to make a statement. But before the first play could even happen, the game was already tainted. Cameras captured the shocking moment. Jalen Carter, lined up across from Dak, leaned in during some heated jawing, and clear as day spit directly on Prescott's jersey. Not in the direction, not a mistake. Right on him. NFL referees immediately flagged it. Carter was ejected before he even played it down. The Eagles were slapped with a 15-YD penalty, and Carter's teammates were stunned. It was one of the fastest ejections in NFL history, and yet somehow the NFL tried to sweep it under the rug. The punishment, a fine of $57,222, equivalent to 1 game check. That's it. Carter served what the league called time served by missing the rest of the Cowboys game. No additional suspension, no further punishment. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott had been spat on in front of 20 million live viewers. A quarterback, a face of the league, humiliated on national television. The NFL called it over. Carter apologized. The Eagles moved on. His agent, Drew Rosenhaus, even went to ESPN and said, "We're focused on the Chiefs game now." But Dak wasn't moving on, not this time. Behind the scenes, Prescott was furious. He had already been criticized for lacking fire, for being too soft-spoken, for not standing up when opponents disrespected him. But this crossed every line, and that's when Prescott made a decision that sent shockwaves across the league. He filed criminal charges against Jalen Carter. Yes, you heard that right. The quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys went to the authorities, not just the league office, and officially pressed charges for assault. This isn't about football anymore. This is about respect, about principle, about not letting an opponent spit on you literally and walk away with nothing more than a fine. The NFL didn't see this coming. Players rarely take disputes this far because the code inside the league says you handle it on the field. But Dak broke that code and the debate erupted immediately. Some players sided with Dak. "Spitting is the most disrespectful thing you can do," said one anonymous veteran. "Good for him. That's not part of the game. That's crossing a line." Others pushed back. "This sets a dangerous precedent. Are we going to start filing lawsuits every time someone punches after a whistle?" Dak soft. "Handle it like a man, not in court." But Dak didn't care. He wanted the world to know, if you spit on me, there will be consequences. Period. Now let's zoom out. This wasn't just any quarterback. This was Dak Prescott, the leader of the Dallas Cowboys, the most scrutinized player in football. Dak has dealt with years of criticism about turnovers, about playoff losses, about whether Jerry Jones should move on from him. He's heard the jokes, the disrespect, the analysts ripping him on ESPN and FS1 every single day. So when Jalen Carter spit on him, it wasn't just saliva. It was symbolic. It was the league's disrespect, the media's disrespect, the fans' disrespect, all rolled into one. Dak wasn't just fighting Carter. He was fighting for his name. Now don't get it twisted. Carter didn't walk away smiling either. He admitted after the game that he was wrong. He said it was a mistake. "It won't happen again. I feel bad for my teammates, for my family, for the fans." But saying sorry doesn't erase what happened. Carter was already walking a fine line in his career, known for his fiery temper, carrying baggage from college into the NFL. This spitting incident only reinforced what some critics had warned, that Carter is reckless, immature, and dangerous. And now, with criminal charges pending, this isn't just a PR headache. This could follow him into courtrooms, contracts, and endorsements. The Philadelphia Eagles, fresh off a gritty win over Dallas, suddenly had a storm on their hands. Do they back Carter, the talented defensive lineman who crossed a line, or do they distance themselves from his behavior, knowing the cameras caught everything? Publicly, the team has been supportive, saying Carter made a mistake. But privately, sources suggest there's real frustration inside the building because the Eagles don't want this hanging over their season. They're chasing a Super Bowl. The last thing they need is a courtroom drama overshadowing every press conference. For the Cowboys, though, this was bigger than one game. This was about setting a tone. Dak filing charges sent a message. We will not be disrespected. Jerry Jones, never one to shy away from controversy, reportedly backed his quarterback 100%. Word out of Dallas is that Jones privately told Dak, "Good. Don't let them walk all over you. You're the face of this franchise." And for a Cowboys team that has often been criticized for lacking toughness in big moments, this move could be a rallying cry. So where does this go? Well, the legal system takes over now. Carter could face penalties beyond the NFL. Depending on the jurisdiction, spitting on someone can be classified as assault. If the courts rule against him, Carter could face fines, probation, even community service. And then there's the bigger question. How does this affect the NFL? Because if Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, can file charges for something that happened on the field, then the floodgates may be opening. Every late hit, every after-whistle punch, every cheap shot. Will we start seeing players calling lawyers instead of throwing fists? This is uncharted territory. Here's the truth. Dak Prescott may have just changed the rules of engagement in the NFL. By filing charges, he sent a message to every defender in the league. If you think you can disrespect me, if you think you can humiliate me, you're not just facing a flag, you're facing the law. And for Jalen Carter, this may be the darkest moment of his young career. He went from being the Eagles' defensive future to being the guy who spit on America's team's quarterback and ended up in court. The league wanted this story to disappear, but Dak Prescott made sure it didn't because sometimes respect matters more than touchdowns. So what do you think? Did Dak Prescott do the right thing by pressing charges? Or did he take this too far, breaking the unwritten code of the NFL? One thing is for sure, The rivalry between the Cowboys and Eagles just went from heated to downright nuclear. And the next time these two teams meet, you better believe every camera, every fan, and every player will be watching, because this isn't just football anymore. This is war.